You know, a lot of concepts or adjectives have been deployed in the course of government responses planned to the planned nationwide protest by angry youths over the obvious hardship in the land. Well, we must admit government has a business to respond. But there's so many ways by which government respond. Government may try to reach out to notable Nigerians, to people who has the credibility to talk to the youths. Yeah, you may say the leadership is faceless. You don't know who are the organizers or who are the people behind it. Definitely, there must be people who will want to coordinate activities. There's a letter. There's a letter in place. A group of people wrote a letter to the federal government to talk about, and even certain dates when the nationwide protest will proceed. So when government talks about anarchy, I mean, do they really, government spokespersons talks about anarchy, do they really know what anarchy is? Or trying to finger a particular person, a leader of an opposition party who contested in the presidential election, that he is the one behind it, trying to, I mean, try to promote anarchy through he's still angry over the election. I mean, let us get it. What is all this? If the if the person being fingered as somebody sponsoring this protest, one, government is living in denial that there's no objective ground. There's no objective ground for the protest to take place. We're talking about is a country that is almost grounded. We're talking about a society in a state of suspended animation. You see people going about as if in the morning parlor, hungry. I don't know of anybody who will say that the situation is not affecting him or her. I don't know of anybody who will say the situation is not affecting him. I mean, even the rich, because if you identify or perceived to be rich, you find a lot of hangers on, you have a lot of people troubling you for one thing or the other, for something to eat, for some form of support. So even when some of us who are even pensioners, you find people who perceive you, who think that, Prof has something will have something to give. And it's always very difficult that even Prof is also relying on some people to sort him out on some needed and essential things. If the person being identified or fingered by government propaganda as the one behind it, well, this thing would have taken place over a year ago. Anarchy is never planned. Anarchy is never planned. It spontaneously. And what is anarchy? Anarchy is an uncontrolled state of violence, general violence. That is anarchy in the simplest form. People are giving you notice. They are listing out their grievances. You are talking about anarchy. No, you don't call a dog, give a dog a bad name in order to crucify it. I mean, it's not right. And government shouldn't put any ideas into people's heads. Government must first of all admit the fact that citizens has a right of protest against adverse policies. Once they come to terms with that, then the next thing is to agree, are there objective reasons? Are there reasons why people should be angry? Is government saying people shouldn't be angry? People whose money has been totally devalued, whose salaries have been devalued because of the cost of living, based on government policy. It doesn't make sense. We shouldn't be doing this to ourselves. People should be patient. Patient. We have been hearing about this patient. I remember before Buhari came, there was this structure. No, after Buhari's first coming, there was this structural adjustment, SAP, program by Babangida. Oh, they said it was a necessary pill that we had to take. Yeah, at the end of the day, things will be right. Till today, this hasn't been right. The leaders of tomorrow, so-called leaders of tomorrow, are now in their 60s with no hope in sight. Even before something led to Shagari being removed by Buhari and his cohorts. Also, they also have some policies. Oh, we needed to be patient. It should be right. So when you now talk about patience to people, it sounds very hollow. It sounds very hollow. And yeah, people may want to be patient with government policies, but that must also reflect on state actors, on government officials. How are they living? What is their lifestyle? You can't be buying in this era of when you are asking people to be patient because of your policies that has devalued their life. You're buying a jet, you're buying a presidential jet, 100 million. I'm sorry, it's difficult. Even the best of pacifists will hardly not understand what you're saying. Okay, what can government do? Government can roll out one or two things immediately. They know reverse the removal of subsidy, because even there are those who are in the oil industry even tell us that there was even no subsidy in the first place. People were just hiding under subsidy to steal funds, and government cannot tell anybody that they don't know them. So what you are saying that you are punishing people on the spurious issue of oil subsidy because you could not handle just stealing public funds under the guise of you are subsidizing fuel that the average. Because fuel has a lot of implications. Moving of goods around. And you know our people, once government announce, anytime government announce the idea of removal, of course, you find the prices of goods and services were dropping. Meanwhile, salaries or wages do not respond. Till date, the minimum wage is still 30,000. Yes, government announced 70,000. It has not been implemented. In fact, government should query how are people surviving. How are people surviving? Like I normally tell people anytime we have course, an average civil servant is a thief. Otherwise, they should come and tell us how they are able to get to work. But because they have turned their offices to their own private shops, where you and me, whenever we go there to seek approvals of something, our files get missing. So we had to talk to them in the language that we know could get our files out so that it can be processed. Somebody needed CFO for his land. He was in one of the government offices in Nigeria, land department. For weeks, they couldn't trace his file. A file that was still processed about 2-3 months ago, until somebody talked to him to go and talk to somebody. And the file surfaced. And they asked him to come back in a week's time, and look at the cost. The guy going from Ibadan to this particular state. The government knows what to do. If you do that, there'll be a big relief, at least for food items, because those who are bringing, if you see when these food items are being transported, one to either Mile 2 or Bodija, if you know the number of roadblocks that they will encounter and the cost of moving them, when they get to the distribution channel at either Bodija or Mile 2, the downfall buses that convey them to different markets, to Igbo, Eriko, and the others, I think government should not label every protest as if it would necessarily turn violent. And not, I mean, if they want to have an experience, let them wind back to what happened in Ondo after the 1983 general election. That is anarchy. That is what we call anarchy. People who are going to engage in violent demonstration or violent reaction to issues do not give notice. They do not. You just find that it is, or let them just go back to the wild west of the 60s after a particular premier rigged elections. I mean, that's what anarchy is. Not when people give you notice that they're going to go on demonstration. No. I disagree, and I also disagree vehemently that the person being fingered. Many people voted for him. Not everybody that voted for him belongs to the obedient movement. Therefore, there was no way he's going to instigate them. They just saw him as perhaps a breath of fresh air in the cesspit that is political aspirants over the years. Nothing more. I mean, Peter Obi is a property person. I mean, he's a capitalist. He has properties. He trades in money. Such people do not want destructions because they are going to be the greatest losers. The poor is already down. He needs no fear of fall. So please, don't let them. They know who are the sponsors. The sponsors are hardship, hunger, bad governance, bad roads, unemployment to the youth that now led them to be emigrating and selling themselves to second slavery. I mean, struggling to get a visa for slavery. That's why you see a man at 50 or 63 that he is diapering. And of course, he's lost hope here. He must have lost every hope of anything here. Nobody's buying things because they are so expensive. Thank you.